Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner, and I want to tell you about something that it's made such a difference in my fishing that I wanted to pass it on to you. And I've had more of a chance to go fishing lately than I've had in a long time, and so I can spend hours in my favorite stretcher river. I'm usually all alone there, so I've got it all to myself. And all the stresses and thoughts and everything sort of just disappear. I'm in the most peaceful state I can be in, but that's not really what I wanted to tell you. In being in that state and being able to really concentrate on my fishing, I've been able to experiment and discover different things about the lures that I use. You know, I tend to have favorite lures through my life. A bucktail jig was one of my favorite things ever. But I'm experimenting with so many other baits, and I've come to realize that if a bait is going to be successful for you, you've got to learn exactly how that bait looks the best. And it can be different for everything you use. Let me give you an example of two things that I love to fish with. Number one, a tube jig. And we've talked about tubes before, but they have a weighted jig head that slides in because these tubes are hollow. So you slide it all the way into it, and then a little eye comes, you push that through the soft plastic, and that's what you tie your line to. So basically your hook is buried in that, but it has a weight, and then the hook, the eye of the hook, or not the eye, but the curve of the hook and the point of the hook are outside of that body. So what you have is something... Excuse me, I'm getting excited about telling you this. You have something that is weighted, and so if you allow it to go to the bottom, it will easily snag. So you have to fish it differently. One of the other things that I've found that works wonderful for me this year, and I'll give you the exact bait that I'm using. It's made by Guggen Baits, and it's a 3-inch crack and craw. They call it the junior edition because the regular crack and craw is 4 inches. This is shorter. It works better for me. But I use a single 1/0 wide gap hook. It has to be wide gap. It allows this bait to look better in the water. It allows it to hook fish better. It really makes a difference. So, to fish this, I fish it totally different. I cast this upstream because now there's nothing really, even the hook point is buried in the plastic. Plastic is very soft, so when you set the hook, it comes out and hooks a fish. So there's nothing really to snag, and it makes all the difference in the world. So now I cast this upstream, and I allow the current, and I'm not fishing high current areas, slower current, and it will take it down to the bottom, and then it will allow it to bump along the bottom as the current carries it down. And the fish seem to think that is the most natural of all. If I cast it across and let the current take it down that way, I'm making it come up against the current. Even though the current might not be that severe, it looks different, and the fish don't like it as well that way. So what this all means is that for every bait you use, there has to be a certain type of presentation and retrieve that makes that look the most appealing to the fish. And if you do it another way, it won't work as well. And if you're waiting and you're in an area, those fish know you're there. And if you snag and walk out to get the snag out, you've ruined the pool. You're not going to catch any fish after that. They're going to disperse and go away. So it's important, if you're going to fish these streams and you're going to wade these streams, that you come up with ways that you aren't going to snag that much and that the fish are going to think what you're throwing is the best thing they've ever seen. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.